I think we are agreeing the corruption is the global concern. Corruption is the worldwide. Some experts clearly mention that corruption is the serious crime. But not only that, the other expert clearly mentioned this is not only serious crime. This is like the crime against humanity. This is human rights crime. And then that is why the fighting of corruption is a global concern. Not only that, the corruption undermines the quality of democracy. The electoral process destruct because the issue of the corruptions. And then, yes, the corruption to try to undermine the process in the court. How come you can find justice and equality if the process in the court corrupted by the officials of law enforcement? I think that is why we should fighting about the corruption. What about in Indonesia? Yes, we face the issue of the corruptions, the massivity of the corruptions. Maybe you still remember one of the special reports from the time, Suharto Incorporations. Suharto is the previous president of Indonesia who have authority more than 30 years. And then Suharto is one from the other leaders in the world who corrupt. This is the first ranking, President Suharto, 1967, 1998. There is more, at least around 15 until 35 billion US dollar. This is related about the funds embezzles. Not only Suharto, Indonesia have the other scandal of corruption. During 1997, 1998, financial crisis in the ASEAN, there is scandal of the Bank Indonesian Liquidity Assistance. This is one of the biggest scandal of the corruption in Indonesia. More than around 12 billion US dollar loss. Until now, the case not really finished, handled by the law enforcement institutions. This is one of the, what we call, two cases, the big cases in the Indonesian experience. From that two cases, and then we have the moment of truth. May 1998, there was what we call the people power. Pressure the authoritarian government of Suharto. At least there's three demands of the people. Firstly, establishing clean government from corruption. Promoting rule of law, and bring the case of Suharto and his cronies to the court. Even not really happened. But after that, Suharto stepped down. One of the fundamental issues in here, in the experience, curbing of the corruption, the General Assembly, one of the highest institutions in Indonesia, ordered and agreed to establish the commission, the special commission on anti-corruption. The KPK, Komisi Pemberantasan Korupsi, this is like the anti-corruption associations established in Indonesia. I think the progress, the process of the anti-corruption in Indonesia doing well. Why that process is doing well? One of the important elements that is because KPK or ACA, anti-corruption associations established in Indonesia. This is some of the rule, the strategic rules of the KPK. Firstly, KPK handling grand corruption cases. Grand corruption means KPK only handle high rankings official, not petty corruptions. Even though I think this is one of the problem because the massivity of the corruption in the whole of Indonesia, but KPK only have authority to handle the grand corruption cases. And then the second one, I think, this is rather different in the other country who have like the special anti-corruption institution. KPK has authority, not only investigation, but to bring the case on the court. This is the authority of the prosecutions. This is the combine of authority. Since 24 until 2015, 100 case conviction rate. This is only Indonesia can success like this, 100 conviction rates, if you're comparing with the other country. More than 100 local MPs, member of the parliament, 57 national member of the parliament. So many minister. When I'm positioned as a commissioner, more than 5 ministers bring the case on the court. What the other else important to show to you? We have in here witness and victim protection law. You can send the information even not really use your name. But the information is very relevant, material, to open the case of the corruptions. We already ratified UN conventions on corruption. And then we have money laundering crime, money laundering law. So KPK can handle not only corruption, but money laundering. So we can combine that. I think this is one of the good one in the Indonesian experience. And then the other one, I think, we use what we call the approaching pop culture campaigning. This is important. If you want to campaign of anti-corruption for the youth people, how come you not really use the pop culture? So why I try to transform from my book to become the audiovisual? Because I want to grab the attentions of the young people. From that film, audiovisual, 5 minutes, and then you can grab the core of the book, the essence of the book. This is important one. Social media will become the fundamental tools to spread the idea of anti-corruptions. And the other one, I think, how to manage the public trusted. This is one of the important. If you do not have capability to managing the public trusted, they will become backfire. I want to show to you the sums of the picture relating about the public trust of the KPK. If you look, this is survey in here, more than 80% public still trust of the KPK. If you compare with the police institution or parliament institution, parliament only have 44%. And police institution only 56%. KPK more than 80%. This is trusted institution by the public. And then you can see, this is the gimmick. If you save KPK, that means you save Indonesia. Because KPK represent the important elements of the Indonesia. So if you save the KPK, you mean you save Indonesia. This is the public trust of the KPK. You see, this is the other ones. How we try to campaign of anti-corruption program. I think this is the good one. This is the bus. The content of this bus, all of the information relating about the anti-corruptions. You can imagine if the Japanese organization joined together with the Indonesian society to campaigning the issue of anti-corruption. And then this is, you can make the co-branding, KPK and Japanese organization, let's say Sasakawa Peace Foundations, and then this bus walk around in all of the province in Indonesia. You see? You not only product the bus, the cars, but you can put the idea, the branding name, the branding, anti-corruptions, and then you help the society of Indonesia. We developed the module for elementary school, junior high school. We are creating what we call the forum for the youth camp on anti-corruption. We create what we call the teacher super camp on anti-corruption. How to talk corruption from the history. How to talk corruption from the mathematics. How to talk corruption from the biological. So we try to transform, not only from the legal side. But even though so many anti-corruption efforts, we still find the problem of corruption. So that is why we create the strategic planning. This is, the focus on strategic sector. Yeah? Revenue, natural resources, food security, infrastructure project, and law enforcement institution. I just sent program on anti-corruption, just want to release by the wing office of the president, maybe next April. The concentrates of the anti-corruption within the infrastructure project, natural resources, and the taxes. This is important. But you should add with the food security, because we have problem with the education and health. So many corruption in this sector. So we invited to eradicate of corruption not only governments and civil society, but we should invite it what we call private sector. The second rankings corruptors in Indonesia come from the private sector. So that is why we should invite the private sector join together. Now, I just to share my concerns about the investment and potential corruption relating about the investment, especially Japanese and Indonesia. Indonesian Investment Coordinating Board, chief of the BKPM, mentions the Japanese government, Japanese investment, now the second biggest investment in Indonesia. I think it is time for Japanese corporation in Indonesia not only talk about the investment, but how to overcome the challenge of the corruptions in Indonesia. We should together and can stop the corruptions. What we can do together? You have amakudari practices. Hopefully, I can learn from you how to control amakudari. Because we have the same attitude, I think, amakudari. And how to promoting the government transparency. Optimizing, you have the conflict of interest regulation. I want to learn from your side how to control that. And then I think this is the kinds of the project when we can do together. You can sharing the best learning about the subs. I think this is one of the other one, establishing consultations, desks on fraud and anti-corruption. We can use promoting informant channel and strong networking. This is the Japanese way and Indonesian ways. Denailing visa of corrupter. I think this is the other of the issue of relating about the law enforcement. Simplicity of the mutual legal assistance, because it's very complicated. And the other one, I think, preventing corruption from accessing the global financial. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, this is the last one. I believe we are against corruption together. Then I do believe the eradication of the corruption is needed to guarantee a fairness process, not only in investment, but to increasing profits, to bringing prosperity and justice for the sake of the people, corporation, and nation. Thank you very much.